The Rusty Nail was the go-to cocktail of the Rat Pack back in their heyday of the 1950s and 60s. But today, in the year 2026, when was the last time you actually saw it on the menu of a cocktail bar that you go to? Or when was the last time you saw Drambuie behind the bar? It's a drink that almost everyone has forgotten about today in the year 2026. But in this video, I'm going to explain exactly why you should bring it back and also how to exactly make it. For those of you that don't know, my name is Ron Vierpen. I'm a full-time medical doctor and I've been a home bartender for over 5 years now. During that time, I've learned how to make over 100 different cocktails and I've thrown over 50 cocktail parties. And I teach other busy professionals how to make cocktails at home. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make the Rusty Nail, a simple and delicious 2-ingredient cocktail that every home bartender can make relatively easily and relatively quickly as well. So first, before we get into making the actual cocktail, let's go over why it's the perfect drink to bring back. First of all, as I mentioned in the intro, it was the go-to cocktail of the Rat Pack. Guys like Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin. If the cocktail was good enough for them, very successful, high-class celebrities back in that era, 1950s, 1960s, it's a perfect cocktail to bring back. I always love to do classic cocktails, especially when you're a home bartender. These are recipes that you know have stood the test of time. You know great people have enjoyed it for many decades, including famous legends like Sammy Davis Jr., like Frank Sinatra, like Dean Martin. If this was a cocktail they enjoyed, this is a cocktail that we can all enjoy in today's era as well. The second reason is, as you can see here, it just calls for 2 ingredients. So relatively easy to make. It's one of the rare 2-ingredient cocktails, but it's still perfectly balanced, great, very delicious, very complex as well, even despite the fact that it only has just 2 ingredients. And the third reason I think it's a great cocktail to have is that it falls in that old-fashioned family, except old-fashions, you know, they usually use a combination of whiskey of some form. It generally can be any kind of liquor, but usually whiskey of some form. Then they call for sugar, and then they call for bitters. Here, the Drambuie, which is a heathered honey herbal scotch, it really has all of those different components all in one. And then we add the blended scotch as well to really get the actual liquor and that alcoholic whiskey kind of component. This really does a job of the sugar and the bitters and the spice notes from the aromatic Angostura bitters, things like that. It really contains all those in one, so that makes this a very easy variation on the old-fashioned. The old-fashioned can be a little bit challenging to make. It does require a little bit of technique, things like that. But this cocktail, the Rusty Nail, relatively simple to make, relatively quick to make, and pretty much anyone can do it. Any home bartender of any level, beginner, intermediate, advanced, super advanced, whatever the case may be, you guys can all make this cocktail. So let's get right into making it. It calls for just these 2 ingredients. The first is going to be a blended scotch. Tons of blended scotches out there. The one that I have used for 4+ years now really is Monkey Shoulder. It's definitely my go-to blended scotch. And as you can tell, I've almost finished the whole bottle here and it's almost time for me to get my next one. Here we have Drambuie. There really is no substitution for this. Drambuie is a unique bottle. It's a sort of a mix between a scotch and a liqueur. It is still like scotch. It is quite a high ABV. I believe this is actually 40% ABV. And in addition to scotch, it also contains those other flavors, heathered honey, spices, herbs, things like that. So this is where you get the sweetness, the spice, and the bitter component of your, quote unquote, old fashioned. Whereas the scotch simply provides the base, the liquor base for that, which with the whiskey here. So there is no substitution for this. You have to go ahead and buy it. And really, when it comes to making the Rusty Nail, the most important thing to get right is the ratio. Over the years, there have been tons of different ratios of scotch to Drambuie. The one that I have found to be the absolute best and really finds that great balance between sweetness, dryness, really balances all the different flavors of the whiskey with the Drambuie is going to be 2 to 1. And you can use any real measurement here, but I like, just to make it even more simple, I like to just do 2 ounces of your blended scotch and then 1 ounce of Drambuie. This is going to be a stirred cocktail because it just contains alcoholic components, no juices, no syrups, no eggs, no dairy, no other ingredients like that. So we're going to build this directly into the glass. Before we go ahead and place our alcoholic ingredients, let's place our ice in the glass. And we're using the 2 to 1 ratio, so we're going to be using 2 ounces of this. Feel free to scale this up or down depending on your own preferences. You can honestly do like 1.5 ounces of this, 3/4 ounce of that. But the one that I prefer to make is 2 ounces of blended scotch and then 1 ounce of Drambuie. So let's start with the 2 ounces of your blended scotch. And then next up, we got 1 ounce of the Drambuie. So we have all our ingredients in the glass with the ice. As I mentioned, relatively simple because this is just a 2-ingredient cocktail. Then we take our stirring spoon, place it in there, and we stir for about 20 to 30 seconds, really. Now I would say about there, we have the cocktail down to temperature. And there you have it, the Rusty Nail, the go-to cocktail of the Rat Pack. Cheers. And honestly, this is, like I mentioned earlier, a great variation on the Old Fashioned, which is one of the most popular cocktails out there. But it's even easier to make because that Drambuie does really the heavy lifting. It's the hero ingredient in this cocktail. It carries all those different flavors well, honey, spices, herbs, and it really finds that great balance with the blended scotch to form a great cocktail. Like I said, this is a forgotten cocktail. Most people have probably never heard of it in the year 2026. It's not on cocktail menus. You don't see Drambuie that often behind the bar, but it's perfect to bring back. You'll be great for if you really want to impress people at your next party, at your next date night, at your next post-work get-together, whatever the case may be. If you're a busy professional like myself, these are the activities that you're going to be doing. And if you want to impress your coworkers, your friends, your family, your partner, whatever the case may be, the Rusty Nail is the perfect cocktail to do that. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. If you found the advice in this video helpful, I really like to do 2 styles of videos on this channel, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. The first style of video will be like this one, where I do a tutorial showing you all how to make a specific cocktail. And the second style video will be more talking head style, where I do different guides on different topics, share tips and tricks, share stories from my own journey, and different things like that I hope will help you all become better home bartenders. Anyways, that's all I have for today's video. Thank you. Cheers.